The last task I have today is to ask our partner organizations to close the meeting. And we've had a lot of partners that worked very hard to put this meeting together. And I'm now going to invite them to fare you well on your journey home. And after the farewells by the partner organizations, I would invite I was going to say we'll take a group photo outside. I'm not sure is that the best place to take a group photo. I think Stephen's...
Probably either would work. It's bright out there, so.
Okay, I think after our partners say goodbye, we can all move outside for a group photo. I'd like to invite the president of the National Commission for UNESCO to have the first word in saying goodbye to you today. Thank you so much, Madam Vassier.
What can I say? First of all, it was a wonderful journey. It really represents how Indigenous and non-Indigenous allies want to work together to save this planet. And I think this is what we all have in our heart. I think we can all say that. It's beating there. And I think that's very important for us. I think on behalf of the Canadian Commission for UNESCO, we will continue to work. We're still going to fight to be able to bring reconciliation, to bring the possibility for all the individuals on this planet to be able to thrive, to be able to celebrate and be respectful of Mother Earth. I think that's the important part. And so personally, it's also for me a discovery, a continued revival of what we are and what we need to continue to discover in ourselves. And so I'm hoping that everybody, we can still hold our hand. And I'm hoping when we take the picture outside that we hold our hands, okay? Because we're all one by the end. So thank you very much. Merci, chez Miigwech.
Merci beaucoup. Is Tonio from Assembly of First Nations here? Because I would have liked to have them to say a couple of farewell words, perhaps not.
Maybe there's somebody from the East Committee, rank one.
Thanks, I'll just need to go through the partner organizations. So AFN, I'm going to move on now to Parks Canada. Parks Canada? Oh, thanks, Claire.
So I just, reflecting back on what I said for opening remarks, it was an amazing learning journey for me personally, and I think for the other members of our team, we had some really rich conversations, and I'm actually quite emotional. It was really a wonderful experience, so thank you for that. I'm really humbled by everything you shared. Thanks.
Oh, that's very kind. A very important partner we've been talking about this meeting for more than a year has been the ICCA Consortium. And Holly, I'll let you introduce the farewell message that you've prepared. Sorry. Just 1 minute.
Yeah, I really won't say anything aside from a real big thanks and gratitude to everyone for being here. We have our elder Larry McDermott from one of our member organizations has very kindly sent some closing remarks to speak for the consortium, so we'll just bring that up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Kwekwe, Amsi Indigenous class, Makwen Dodum, Shabbatabashan First Nation, Didjaba. Over my shoulder is the sleeping giant, perhaps symbolic about our potential to respond to the urgent need to change our relationship with all our relations. bringing together Western science, traditional knowledge systems, to learn to connect and hear the voices of the land and the water. It's been an interesting week. Hasn't been without challenges, but at the end of the day, everybody has come together to respond to that voice, the voice of all creation that needs our heartfelt attention. And I'm honored to have shared that with those of you who have committed to that responsibility. And so I hope our declaration recognizes that yes, we have human needs, we're part of that web of life. But part of the problem that we have is that there's been a justification of, oh, the economy needs this, humans need that. We've been on an anthropocentric journey, and we need to balance that. We need to balance the canoe because of our love for all of creation. And with that, I see that our work will honor that vision, or that vision expressed in another way. But the bottom line is, we love the life within and all of life that has been created. And with our first breath, we took on the responsibility of caring for creation. Chimigwich, I hope everybody has a safe journey home. It's been wonderful working with you. Bye for now.
Thanks so much, Larry. Do we have the Quebec Biodiversity Centre? Is Philippe still here? Okay, some of our partners have left, but so I'll keep moving. The American Natural History Museum, I think Helen has taken the plane already. Okay, the American Natural History Museum is committed to continuing to work with Indigenous peoples to identify indicators for the work we're doing on biocultural in the post-2020 process. So I do thank them, and for the Indigenous network they brought with them from that country just south of here. What's it called? The United States, that's it. I did tell them that we were not intending to build a wall, but we were considering putting a cedar hedge in. Anyway, I'd like to go now to Cicada to say a final word as our chief partner that made this event possible. Thank you so much, Colin Scott.
Thank you, John. As everyone knows, events like this involve a lot of work by a lot of people, and I do want to, I'm not going to be able to name everyone, and my apologies if I forget anyone, but I have a list. And if this computer doesn't let me down again, we go from the top. So first of all, it takes money, quite a lot of it. And we have to thank for this the major funders of Cicada and of this conference in particular, the Fonds de Recherche du Québec, Société et Culture, the Quebec Research Council for Social Sciences and Humanities, the Social Sciences and Humanities Research of Council, Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, and beyond Cicada, generous support from Parks Canada. Not only a cash donation, but Parks Canada has provided the translators, and a big round of thank you to the translators. The Quebec Centre for Biodiversity Sciences has contributed generously, as has the Canada Council for the Arts. I want to really express tremendous appreciation to the Cicada team who've been the largely invisible, not at the podium for the most part, but have kept this event on track logistically and in terms of communications. Lucia Justo and Marilyn Sarrazin. Our media and recording people, Stephen Schnur, Nicola Protech, Nicholas Eulis, and Nafisa Sarwath. Leila, I got you on the wrong line here. Well, no, sorry. I said the recording, the notes-taking team, Leila Vaziri and Sophie Gagné-Landman. We had quite an organizing committee. There were several meetings, as John has said, over a period of many months. Some people drifting in and out of the committee, but a steady core group. I hope I haven't missed anyone here, but to begin with, my colleague Thora Herman from the University of Montreal. Teresa Maza from the CBD. Ashley Campbell and others for Parks Canada. Philippe Ozel and Hélène Elina from the Quebec Centre for Biodiversity Sciences. Holly Jonas from the ICCA Consortium. Eli Enns and Steve Nita from ICE, or ACE, and ACE, I guess. Joey Tutusis and Antonio Sadik from the Assembly of First Nations. Eleanor Hayne Bennett for the Canadian Commission for UNESCO. Monica Mulrennan from Concordia University. Ken Deere for Ganawagi. And again, a huge thank you to all of our Ganiengahaga hosts from that community. Thank you, stream chairs and rapporteur. That would be a long list. So just thank you collectively, and thank you everyone for your goodwill and the extraordinary insight and experience that you have brought to our collective task, every one of you. Thank you. Not quite done yet, John. But you're next on my list. John has been simply, to me, an extraordinary model of a person who remains unruffled under even very difficult circumstances. He has an intent and a purpose that just keeps going to the goal. He does it kindly and diplomatically, and all I can say is, Jinskumadin, I respect you, I thank you.
Thank you.
So most of you will have gathered by now, my name is Colin, and as such, I can be a little sensitive about commentary about the colonization of time. I had, there have been moments, and an elder who will remain unnamed, had a word with me yesterday, midday. He says, you know, every now and then the trickster challenges us. We should take that as a gift. That it's an opportunity to test ourselves, an opportunity not to be drawn into negativity, an opportunity not to yield to a politics of division. And I thought I was very touched by that intervention, because I was feeling a little gloomy by yesterday midday, and he really turned my day around, and that kind of wisdom I really, really appreciate. We have to proceed on the basis of relationship, of respect, of reciprocity with one another. Conversation is important. Without conversation, we have no shared struggle. We have no basis for alliance. As Thomas reminded us again this morning, our words matter. Talking matters. Treaties matter. And as another Thomas King, has written, the stories that we tell matter. And some of our stories are understandably in our time a little bit doom and gloom, and we have to resist the temptation to succumb to doom and gloom. And so, I received just earlier today a message from Bill Snow that is simple and powerful, and that I think is the better story. And I want to read a couple of paragraphs from what Bill has written. He says, while there are dire statistics, there is also good news. The good news is that traditional knowledge has not been implemented yet. A long-term holistic view is how indigenous people managed land, wildlife, and resources before colonization. There's that word again, colonization. Traditional knowledge seeks to interrelate knowledge in a holistic system, to live in harmony with nature, not to derive a profit. The way that nature was once understood and managed should not be seen as something new, but as a return of traditional knowledge to the land. The biodiversity of land that provided for all the needs of the people, the wildlife, and the environment existed before and can so again. The vision of managing these lands with traditional knowledge is the common goal that we should aspire to. So thank you, Bill.
Thank you. On Monday, we heard terrible news that there's 1 million species at risk, that our ecosystems are on the verge of collapse, and we have a very small window of opportunity to take action. The same day, the Forest Peoples Program released a news article that said Indigenous territories can preserve the remaining amounts of biodiversity on the planet. They are islands of life. So in the afternoon, I heard a good news story, and that is the richest, most biological and culturally diverse areas are those that are on Indigenous territories. And that is something, that is good news, and that is something we need to work to preserve. Now, I had a special request, and I think it was a very good idea. We were welcomed on Sunday by the Ganawagi elders, and again in their community, we had a traditional address. So I thought it would be nice to finish with a traditional man from this place, a young person, a youth. So I'm going to invite Mr. Bush to say the final words of the conference, and then I'll invite you all to assemble outside so we can take a group photo. So thank you.
Segus Kanagoa. Before I do the closing, I just had a couple things I wanted to say, and I'll be really quick. So actually, just today at lunch, we were walking down the road, St. Catherine Street, and there was these big trucks, and they're tearing up the roads, and they're doing a bunch of construction. And a funny thing happened to me. Me and two of my friends were trying to talk to each other, and we couldn't talk to each other over this big, loud truck that was just super loud and digging up the road. And I just kind of, I found it funny, the juxtaposition of preserving bioculture, of the theme of the seminar and just all the construction and all the stuff that was happening outside, and it made me a little bit sad. But I know we're going in a really good direction with especially with this conference. It's making me really happy. It's an amazing first step to see this conversation being started, because I've been trying to just start conversations where the conversation isn't being had and does need to be had. I wanted to leave a little nugget of wisdom with everybody here today, because it is the final day. Because I've been struggling with mental health and family problems and this and that, and just life, being a human. Every morning when I wake up and I'm brushing my hair or brushing my teeth or getting dressed in front of the mirror, I repeat this little mantra to myself that has helped me stay alive over the last 5 years of my life, and it's that life is always happening for you, and life is never happening to you. And if you think like that in the smallest of instances and to the biggest of instances, it'll change your perspective 180. It'll completely flip your view of the world and how things happen to you. If you spill your coffee, oh well, I'll just wipe it up. And it's something that's really just helped me stay alive. Like especially when I'm really severely depressed. So take that as you may. So. Traditionally, we have something called the Ohandagari Wadekwa, and each nation and each tribe has their own version of it. And basically, it's just giving thanks to everything that's around us. So I just want to start off by giving thanks to the people, all you beautiful people. Thank you for attending this conference. As well as before everybody leaves, I want every single one of your business cards and contact info. If I haven't already, it's like, no, I'm serious. I want to stay in contact with every single one of you people, and I want to have a conversation one-on-one possibly with every one of you eventually, because I think there's so much more that needs to be said before, but that can't be said because of time. So I thank the waters, I thank the trees, I thank the fish that we eat, I thank the moose and the caribou, and all the animals that we use to feed ourselves. I thank the bugs, I thank the winds, I thank the rains, I thank the fires, I thank the moon, I thank the sun, and everything that I've forgotten. As well as I implore you to do that as well whenever you are on, not just on someone's land, but when you're, say, in a place, and when you, because most of you must travel a lot for conferences and must be traveling a lot, different places in different territories. So I just want you to be aware of the people's land you're on every time you're traveling, and just give thanks to what you have, and just give thanks to what you have. Thank you. Bye.
And with that, we're closed. I invite people to go outside and we'll take a group photo. Thank you for a wonderful 4 days together.